celebrities, and it's time for the Hometown Movie Guys on today's KRIM's Community Spotlight. How y'all doing?
Bonjour, très bien.
I guess I should say wee or something like that, but I took care of that a little while ago. Anyway, how's Andy McKinney this morning?
I'm just in fine fettle this morning. I'm
Fine fettle.
happy
He has
as
a
two
fettle.
little clams.
How many fettles did you bring with you?
I didn't bring a one, but
That's cool, because this is a fettle-free zone. Only because I don't know what fettling is, and I'm afraid to find out. How about Craig? How you doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah, how's life at the Alamo Theaters?
Okay.
Yeah?
Not great, but it's okay. It's okay. We've got
There's people coming in from all over here.
disembodied hand that
That's
comes
right.
out there. We got some good stuff coming up.
Cool.
Movies are kind of, I think, taking a turn for the better.
So we're finally past all of the
We're-
nonsense that came as a result of COVID.
Well, you know what? We're looking at the one everyone can look at is Black Widow. It's scheduled for May 7th or May 8th.
Right.
That first week of May. That's the one we're keeping an eye on. If that holds into that slot and then they release it May 8th, summer's looking pretty good, and I think
Wow.
everything will come around. Now, if Disney pulls that movie, then it's possible that, Fast and Furious is the next one at the end of May, that they might yank that too, and then the whole summer will unravel, and we'll be back to...
Well, here's hoping that we just get back to the way things were. And this has caused the movie industry to try a number of new things. Not a whole lot of which I think really made a lot of sense, but that's just my.
Well, everyone was. Well, it's a new situation. No one had ever been in it before, and then theaters tried many different things to try to get it going. But I think really we just got to wait for this. For people to get comfortable with this COVID situation again.
Sure.
And the vaccines are going well, I think, and that I think is a key to it. And I feel pretty positive. I think right now.
Cool. Well, that's optimistic. I'm glad to hear that.
As we make our way through March, I think by the end of March it'll be much better.
Cool. How about Tina? How's Tina on this finally Friday morning?
I'm great. I'm not vaccinated. I know that there are cheap cures for this pandemic. Ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, and you can go to America's Frontline Doctors and look at that. And you know what?
I'm suddenly sorry I asked.
Yeah, no. I mean, people are so scared, and there's so much information out there, but it's been
There's a lot of
politicized.
misinformation out there, and that's what's caused
Yeah.
people to panic so
Yeah,
much.
but
And that's a real disservice.
I know a lot of people who have had very mild cases. They've used these things. We're all walking around being happy, and
And I
I'm
know
not
6
worried.
people personally that have died, so I mean it's tough.
I know some, but they were not given these things.
True.
That's the thing. So no, but I'm fine. I don't wear a mask. I get frowned on by Karens, but
Well, you know how Karens are.
I do. I attract them.
Our apologies
But
to
the
all of you out there
movies-
named Karen, by the way.
Yeah, I know, it's not fair. I mean, one of my closest friends who's really not a Karen is Karen.
Well, it gets hard to figure this stuff out.
It's all opaque to me now.
It's not that. No,
Alright.
but I'm great, and the movies, the theater is great.
Right.
A little plug. We just gave some really big plants to the theater, my husband and I, and go to the theater, watch movies, and say
Look at the
hi to
plants.
the plants. They're really nice.
They have names?
So, yeah. No, but Craig's gonna name them.
Okay.
Turning the place into a jungle.
There you go.
Yeah, it looks really cool. It
Might
looks
have
really cool.
small woodland animals moving.
Explains why you
You're
have.
talking about Disney, right?
Explains why you have that song Jungle Boogie always playing in the background there now.
Yeah, no,
So,
but really, go to the theater,
yeah.
all of y'all, don't be scared, go and see a movie.
Yeah.
A family of chipmunks or something.
Yeah, I know.
Craig, when we saw Chris retrieving his glasses there, it reminded me. Remember the Michael Caine movie, The Crawling Hand?
Oh, I think so.
Yes.
Yes, that was kind of creepy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Crawling hand?
Yeah, it was just dumb.
I
It's
have
about
not
this
seen this.
disembodied hand that
So-
crawled around and choked people and stuff.
Is that the one from the Addams Family way back when?
No, but I mean a similar
Right.
theme.
I
Yeah,
think it was pre-Adams Family, wasn't it?
Yeah.
probably. Yeah, it's
Before
an old
it?
movie.
Yeah.
And I
I
saw
saw Michael Caine, right?
Yeah, I saw an interview with Michael Caine one time, and they brought this up, and he said, "Why in the world, you're a very accomplished actor. Why did you make this movie?" And he said, I think I was paying for a new house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Hey,
why not?
before I forget,
Yeah.
we want to remind people that we're not only coming to you over the airwaves on KRIM, but also on social media on Facebook Live. Just look for KRIM FM. We already have Terry and
Hi, Terry.
Terry saying hi.
Hello.
Nicole says hi from Black and Tan. Have an
Hi,
awesome
Nicole,
weekend.
I love you.
And Ty says, good morning, hometown movie junkies.
Hi, Ty.
So
Ty.
it's all good. Not to be confused with my Ty, which is later today. But at any rate, so what new is starting today at the Sawmill Theaters?
A couple good ones. We got Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
Now, are they still smacking each other over the head and doing all kinds of politically incorrect stuff?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Reaffirms
Same
my
thing
faith
there.
in
Yes, same
humanity.
thing there. This is the first kids movie that Hollywood has released since The Croods came out in Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So this is kind of it's a good thing.
About
It's a
time we
good thing.
get something on there for the kids.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
PG rated Tom and Jerry fun. And Land, Robin Wright.
Mhm.
This is a woman that goes through tragedy in her life, and she just it's her way of coping with this. She goes off grid in Wyoming.
That's an easy place to
And,
go off grid.
Well, yeah, but probably not a place you want to do that without knowing what you're doing. And
It's good to do a little
She
homework.
goes without a vehicle.
yeah,
to-
just kind of she just
Yeah.
gives up everything and
Right.
goes and
Didn't she direct this as
Yeah,
well?
she did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Her directorial debut.
And again, the name of the movie?
Land,
Yeah.
Okay, and the lead actress is
Robin Wright.
Yeah.
Robin Wright.
And if you remember her from The Princess Bride,
Ah,
She
okay.
played Princess Buttercup.
she is
Princess
one.
Buttercup.
Yeah.
1987.
Yes,
My
yes,
goodness.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, yeah.
That seems like just yesterday for some of us.
It is just yesterday for me.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and she also, you probably remember her in this role because I'm sure that you've seen Forrest Gump.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
She played Jenny.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, now that's one I remember.
Yeah, yeah.
That was Jenny.
She is a very beautiful actress who has aged absolutely exquisitely.
Really?
She has beautiful bone structure, and she.
I've always thought that about her. That's the first thing I noticed
Yeah,
with
I
women,
know.
is their bone
Yeah.
structure.
Well, women, we women who age, we keep looking at women with bone structure that doesn't sag. She looks great.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. No, that's not, actually.
No, she's really beautiful. She was married for a while to Sean Penn.
Mhm.
Was she before Madonna?
I think she was after Madonna. Yeah. I don't know.
I didn't think anyone's been after Madonna in a long time.
Well, that's true.
Most ridiculous thing I ever heard. By the way, good morning to Jamie, who's also joining us this morning on Facebook Live. Glad to have you along with us.
Yeah,
Madonna,
but
Madonna was married to Guy Ritchie for quite some
Yes.
time. And,
Really?
Yeah.
Eventually that petered out too.
yeah.
And Guy Ritchie had I just saw it again on TV the other day, The Gentleman. Just
Oh,
a classic,
yes.
classic Guy Ritchie movie with
Yeah.
just bizarre twists and turns and horrifying violence. It's just a lot of fun.
The good stuff, right?
Interesting,
Yeah,
interesting.
I know.
By the way, good morning to Dar, who's also joining us online right now. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Again, we're on Facebook Live at KRIM FM, and come along with us. Now, we're with you for a half hour here on the radio, but we go a full hour on Facebook Live, and one of the things we're going to be talking about today is maybe your favorite movie that had to do with going, out in the middle of nowhere, or how are we going to...
wilderness movies.
Wilderness
escape,
movies, okay.
escape movies, yeah.
And we're going to try and steer clear of any comments about deliverance.
You just made one.
Oh.
Too late.
Yeah. Too late.
Or about little piggies. I'm not going down that road. But ouch.
Bring your banjo.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Dueling Tubas?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, no, it's
It's
really funny.
funny. Yeah,
It's a-
yeah.
it
It
does-
is
Suddenly realized I led such a sheltered life.
You should know the movies more. Their movies are really a lot
I
of fun.
tell ya.
Oh, Ty is saying open range.
Yeah. Oh, one of my
Oh.
favorites. Kevin
Yeah.
Costner and Annette Bening, and I love that movie.
Boy,
Yes.
the
Yes.
title sounds familiar. I
Oh,
haven't
it's
missed too many Kevin
wonderful
Costner movies,
movie.
but I'm not bringing that one to my mind.
Wonderful movie.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Open Range is really good. Good call there.
Yes, thank you, Ty.
And while we're just briefly talking about Kevin Costner, I think Dances with Wolves was a profoundly amazing,
Yep.
out in the middle of nowhere movie, and that was that was just a different sort of approach to telling a story too.
It's a big stupid head movie.
big stupid head.
Well, yeah. But it's one that I actually cannot and will not see again because it's so tragic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it was, yeah.
spoiler,
Yes, it was,
when they
yeah.
shoot his wolf, it's terrible, so.
There's a Korean food recipe here somewhere, but anyway.
Oh.
I know, I'm a bad person, but I'm in touch with my badness, so that's good. Before I forget now, what else is playing? We got the two new movies. What else is playing?
Looking at this, I think I could say we probably have the best lineup of film right now that we've had in over a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do think so.
As far as something for everyone type of thing, or what?
Well, in quality of movies,
Just
yeah.
quality.
These are all good films.
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry and Land opening today.
Right.
And
we're still holding.
Who's the actress in that?
Tom and Jerry.
Yes.
Chloe Moretz.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yes.
Moretz.
Yes.
And
So that alone is a reason to go see that movie.
Yeah, she's really cool.
this is in Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
Yes.
Okay, so not all, this is a mix of
It's a mix. Yes,
animation and
it's
live.
actually a live action, but with Tom and Jerry are animated.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
So
good.
they mix them in then, yeah.
Kind of in the tradition of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Which
There
was,
you
that
go.
was a fun
Well,
one.
and
yeah.
even before then, there are movies where Gene Kelly danced with Mickey Mouse. I mean, they've been doing this for a long time, and that
Right.
was back in the 50s, I think? Yeah, it was great.
Wow, interesting.
But we're still holding The Little Things. Denzel Washington,
Right?
yeah, kind of a
That
pop
was
drama.
And it-
really, really good.
Really, is that one that you saw last week?
2
No,
weeks
2
ago.
weeks
2 weeks
ago.
ago.
And what stands out as a reason why you're saying it's really good?
It's an intelligent movie. It's not the, sort of clunky resolution. It's very sensitive and very, the relationship between Denzel Washington and Rami Malek is really excellent. And, the question of good and evil, the question of morality, of, does somebody deserve to be dead? Jared Leto is in that. He is great. Is it Leto or Leto?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
Jared Leto got the Golden Globe nomination for that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
it was-
it's a thinking person's movie.
That's
I really liked it.
nothing more distracting than a movie that's got some really dumb twists and turns that you find yourself stopping and thinking about how ridiculous that last thing you saw
There's
was.
nothing ridiculous here.
Good.
It's like a real life thing that happens to people, and you're wondering, what would I do? What is the right thing or wrong thing about what happened?
Right.
Yeah.
Really good.
And
Really
there's
good.
there's 3 major actors in it.
Right.
There's Jared Leto or Leto,
Mhm.
however you say his name, Remick,
Mhm.
and Denzel Washington.
Right.
All 3 of those guys have Oscars.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're
Yeah.
all 3 of them are just tremendously good actors,
Right.
and they really pour it on.
Yeah.
This is sometimes even good actors, like we were just talking about Michael Caine and The Hand. They'll just kind of walk through a movie and get their paycheck. This one, all 3 of these guys they're superb actors, and they're really doing the absolute best that they possibly can
Yeah.
to play these roles, these three different roles.
And the chemistry
Yeah.
between,
Among
among and between.
Yeah.
I mean, just really, really great.
And for me, when I left the theater, I left puzzled and thinking,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
Wow.
what exactly
Yeah.
was all this?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, but you're not confused. You're just pondering because these things happen in real life.
Sure.
And that you might even have it happen to you where it's a gray area rather than black and white, and maybe something happens that you did something and you don't know if it was right or wrong. It's really, really
Wow.
great.
Deep.
Yeah. It's a morality play.
Warn me if we're gonna start having deep conversations. I have to prepare myself for that.
Deep thoughts.
That's right.
Well, another one
Yeah,
that's
that's-
kind of some depth to it is Nomad Land.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yes.
another one that came out
Oh.
last week.
Has that been doing fairly good?
It has been, yes.
Good.
Yes, that's been
Yeah.
our number one picture. This is another one with early Academy Award aspirations.
Yeah.
The highest rated film of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Frances McDermott, great actress.
Yeah.
Double Oscar winner, by the
Oh,
way.
man, she is
And,
extraordinary.
Could be another one with this one too.
Yeah.
Wow, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Really worth seeing. It's apparently taken from real life events and understandable, especially in this age of people really struggling with the economy having crashed and just people who have chosen to live away from stable neighborhoods. But they create their own relationships out in, it's kind of in the wild in a way.
Right.
But
Well,
Frances McDormand is amazing. I would watch her read the phone book.
Real quick before I forget here, we also want to say good morning to Randy and Terry who are joining us on Facebook Live. Appreciate that.
And then that's where we got our theme for the day, the wilderness films with
Yeah.
Land and then with
Right.
Nomad Land also.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I think that fits into that.
Yeah.
So now, when you start talking about movies that, that are, the setting is out in the middle of nowhere, I mean, that can go a lot of different directions as far as types of movies and stuff like that. What's the first one that comes to your mind, Andy?
Into the Wild.
Mhm.
Into the Wild?
Well, I spent 30 years in Alaska, so I'm always fascinated and intrigued with movies that are filmed in Alaska or have some
Right.
connection to Alaska. So,
Because I mean, that's pretty wild territory there. It doesn't
Yeah,
doesn't get a lot more wild than that.
no, and it's way big. I mean, it is just. I remember one time I was usually when I traveled to and from Alaska, you stage through Seattle.
Right.
But this particular time, I don't know. My next stop on the airplane was I don't know Chicago or someplace, a different direction.
Right.
And I remember just being flabbergasted because we're in a jet plane, we're going really fast, and whoosh, and I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing nothing but just the most imposing, stark wilderness for hours,
Mhm.
Right.
just for hours
Yeah.
and hours
Right.
of just no human habitation whatsoever. Alaska's a pretty wild place.
I've had a similar experience flying over Africa. It's
You're right.
pretty strange that way. I've been in every state in the Union except for Alaska, and Alaska is really the only one that, man, I've always wanted to go there.
Mhm.
Oh, you ought to go up there and
And I
catch a fish. I think you'd have a hoot.
Yeah.
I'd love to go up there, catch a fish, and have a hoot. But I haven't been able to make that happen yet. And I gotta make some of these things. My wife and I, we celebrated our 42nd wedding
Oh,
anniversary this week,
congratulations, that's good for you.
and we still haven't had a honeymoon.
What?
Oh, go to Alaska.
Go to Alaska.
We were had a 2-week paid vacation that we were gonna go camping because we like to do camping,
Uh-huh.
and got up on top of the rim here. This was back in 1979, and the next morning I woke up in our tent and I had the measles and felt like
Holy
Oh.
moly.
bad stuff.
Oh,
And so we went home and I spent the rest of my 2-week paid vacation feeling pretty sick. And we just haven't gotten back to that yet, and it's
Yeah.
only been 42 years. I think we probably ought to do that before they.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know if you're a fan of overeating, but if you
I'm not only a fan, I'm the poster child.
if you go on one of those cruises up the Inside Passage in Alaska, not only is the scenery just absolutely gorgeous, but they have some of the best chefs in the world
Wow.
shoveling stuff down your yap just 24/7.
Well, that sounds like Nirvana.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful.
And you can see whales and stuff. I mean, it's fun to see
Yeah.
whales.
By the way, good morning to Julie, Jody, and Dwayne, also joining us on Facebook Live this
So
morning.
Into the Wild is, I mean, as Andy, we think of that's a real, it is kind of the poster movie for, wilderness.
Mhm.
To me, it's also the poster movie for the Darwin Awards, because this kid who goes into the wild was really just, he was suicidal, and maybe that was the point, but he was stupid. You know, the things that he did and the resolution, I mean, he died out there and he didn't need to.
Right.
You know, he ate poisonous plants,
He did everything that he could
yeah.
Wow.
to make sure that he died, and it
But,
worked.
you know, there's this kind of preciousness about it, like, oh, you know, he's such a saint because he went out into the wilderness. And I'm like, no, he's such a dolt because he went out to the wilderness totally unprepared and kind of expecting that nature, you know, like the Timothy Treadwell situation with the bears, you know, that the grizzly bears would be like friendly to him.
Yeah, peace, love, and Ruby Beats. Ouch, that hurt.
And he died. I mean, and he died needlessly. Now, maybe that's what he wanted. But, you know, to glorify this kid is to create a situation where other stupid kids would think that they could do it too.
Right. And you know,
Tell the public out there what the story is, because not everybody's seen Into the Wild.
He's a college kid who went to Emory University, and it's a true story that was written up by John Krakauer as a book and then directed by Sean Penn. And he decided.
Once the husband of Robin Williams.
That's
there
right.
you go.
Yeah, and an amazing actor, kind of a.
I met Sean
kind of a-
Penn down in Haiti after
Yes,
the
and he has his
He was
nice
very
side. Yeah, but he is kind of a whack job.
Yeah.
And this kid goes out into the wilderness to kind of live off the land. Well, I don't think you can do that real well in Alaska if you don't have the proper
Tools, expertise,
training and tools. Yeah.
Common sense.
Yeah, but it's like this, how pure he's going to be. You know, it's the living off the land purity myth that really catches him.
And then the next day.
Yeah, well, and he ends up dying in this school bus, this old abandoned school bus that was very close to a civilization, but he didn't know. And he ate poisonous plants, he didn't know what to eat, starved to death, and maybe was poisoned, I don't know. I saw it, and the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking, man, you are so stupid. You know, I mean, I spent time in Montana and Wyoming. I spent
Beautiful
time.
wild country.
Oh yeah, but you know, when you're camping, you have a preparation routine
Mhm.
if you want to live. Now, maybe he didn't, you know, but to glorify that kind of suicide, I think, is really short-sighted.
Right.
You know?
And in the trailer for Land, of course, I haven't seen the movie yet,
Right.
but I did see the trailer, and there's one, I think, very telling moment in the movie where Robin Wright is eating a can of frozen beans, and it's
Right.
frozen. I mean, frozen solid.
Frozen.
She's a city person. She's an urbanite,
Right.
and she goes off into the wilds of
Without a vehicle. Hello.
or apparently any matches.
Yeah.
But
Apparently,
I'm anxious
maybe
to
even a can opener. I guess
no,
she
she got
gets
the
it
can
yeah,
open.
right.
Yeah, but I'm anxious to
Oh,
see
yeah.
the movie just to see how she copes with this stuff.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
and Robin Wright is, you know, I like Robin Wright.
Oh, I do too.
And
Yeah.
apparently this is a pretty good movie. It's got some good marks, hasn't it, Craig?
It's at, I think 62 on Metacritic.
wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. Now, real quick, I got to interject here that we're going to continue this conversation on Facebook Live here, but we're going to get you back to more of your favorite music on K-Rhythm.
Hey, we should get on for an hour.
You have to talk to management.
We always say that,
Um,
and it never has yet
Well,
happened.
you have to talk to management. Don't talk to me. I don't.
You were like quasi.
I have. I know. I'm just like Quasimodo.
You're walking around in sanctuary.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, if you want to find out what's playing and when it's playing at Sawmill Theaters, you can always do so by going online to sawmilltheaters.com and get it taken care of there. In the meantime, we're going to get you on the radio, hear back to more of your favorite music. Have some tunes coming up from Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock, Drift Away, Leon Russell, Van Morrison, and a whole bunch more. But first, a quick look at Rim Country weather.
And here's the key.
I was all mad at Kid Rock at one point because he was presenting this persona of being a working class hero, and You know, he comes from, his father was a really hotshot, very successful lawyer in Detroit. You know,
Really?
Oh yeah, really oodles. He grew up with oodles of money, and he has this persona of you know, the working class kind
the
of
redneck,
redneck sort of a guy. And I was complaining about that one time, and then the guy I was talking to says, "Hey, wait a minute, look who he's married to."
And who is he married to? I don't know.
Who's the actress that has the barbed wire around her?
Pamela Anderson.
Pamela Anderson.
Oh, he's
was
married to Pamela?
Well, he was.
He was.
Yeah, well, it's Hollywood, you know, you're never.
I had no
you're
idea.
You're never married forever, not like 42 years,
Yeah.
but you're married for a while,
And in Hollywood, I think everybody was married to Pamela Anderson once. Gosh, don't get me started. Anyway, hello to Julie and Ashley, also joining us on Facebook Live. This is where we just want to talk about movies that either you loved or you hated that had to do with being out in the middle of nowhere. What comes to mind? Chime in on the messaging there on Facebook and let us know.
I got one,
Okay.
but it's out in the middle of nowhere in the ocean. Master and Commander
Ooh,
with Russell Crowe.
that was a great movie.
God, I love that movie.
Yeah.
And people complain about how slow it was. It's slow because that captures what it was like to be out in the middle of the ocean. You know, before there were motors. I mean, this is, you know, old school big ship sailing. Oh my gosh, that's a fabulous movie.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then also the movie with Tom Hanks where he's marooned.
Castaway.
Castaway, you know, out in the middle of nowhere, right? With only a basketball for, you know, for company. Oh, sorry.
Wilson.
Wilson, the volleyball, right?
Sorry, Wilson.
And that's unlike the movie Into the Wild, which is tragic and dumb. Castaway,
Yeah.
you know, the guy doesn't give up. He's innovative.
Right.
He does everything. He doesn't have much in the way of resources, but what resources he has, he uses with imagination and
Right.
tenacity, and it's admirable.
Yeah, he has a will to live, whereas Into the Wild, it seems like this kid has kind of a subconscious death wish. Yeah, right.
You know, I think, you know, Land has a little bit of that.
Yeah,
Again, I haven't
right.
seen it either, but,
Right.
you know, that she's facing tragedy and it's just a,
Yeah,
you know, she just can't stand to be around people or society or anything else and just goes to,
I relate to that.
well, you know, and again, now I haven't seen the movie, but maybe there's a little bit of that,
Mhm.
you know, if I live or if I die, it doesn't,
Right.
you know, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
You know, that type of, and, you know, Into the Wild might be a little bit of that
But
too.
there's
where
some
you just-
guy who
I mean,
shows up in Land who is, you know, who knows stuff, he teaches her how to hunt, he teaches her how to trap.
According to
According to the trailer,
trailers.
right,
Yeah.
we've seen the trailer.
Yeah, he's mansplaining her how to live.
Yes, yeah, really.
Mansplaining. I like it. I'm gonna write that down. I can use that.
She needs it, obviously. I mean, she's really in bad shape when he shows up, so, yeah.
Interesting. I'm trying to think of. I've been out in the middle of nowhere in some unusual places. That those kind of things are coming to my mind. But when it comes to movies, boy, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what are some other big, you know, blockbuster movies that had to do with being out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, Call of the Wild.
All the
Oh,
while. That's what about
definitely,
wolves.
definitely, yeah.
I've done that one a few times, and the last one was Harrison Ford last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and also, I mean, this is not necessarily out in the wilderness, you know, like just disappearing out in the wilderness, but I'm reminded of Out of Africa with Meryl Streep and Robert Redford, where she goes to Africa to run a coffee plantation. That's really a challenge. Being, you know, it's a little civilized, but not a whole heck of a lot.
Just real quick on that one,
Yeah.
we did that one as a classic film. You know what?
Yes.
Not tomorrow, but next Saturday. Sound of Music.
Oh, great.
We'll go ahead and do that one.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, I want to get us back to our routine on classic films.
Movies.
So yeah, if you want to come watch Sound of Music,
Yeah.
like I said, not tomorrow,
Boy,
next Saturday.
and to watch that on the big screen with the great sound system and everything. That'd be
Yeah.
that'd be
We'll let
super.
everyone vote then too. We'll get back to that, and
Yeah.
But we'll talk about our next one, and we'll start doing these first
And
first Saturday of the
Jason
month.
does love musicals.
Yes, and classic movies. And what's his name? I'm sorry, the male lead. He
Christopher
recently.
Plummer.
Yes, he recently passed.
Yeah,
And
couple
he
weeks ago.
was so,
Boy, and Christopher Plummer, he was at it for a lot of years.
He was great.
Yeah.
He was so versatile.
You know, when it comes to being out in the middle of nowhere, like one quick side story, there was a series of hurricanes that hit the southeast coast of the African continent back around 2001, something like that. And the country of Mozambique had just come out of a civil war, and UN was saying it's going to be the next Ethiopia as far as famine and all of this, and it was terrible. Especially these hurricanes just decimated the area. So there was a big humanitarian aid thing that came in, and I was one small little part of that. But I stayed in an orphanage in Maputo, Mozambique, and was airlifted out by helicopter. And the first day out, these are little grass hut villages out in the middle of nowhere. The first one they dropped me off at, one person had been eaten by a crocodile. 3 people had died from some disease, and then others were injured as a result of things that happened during the hurricane. But as the chopper pilots dropped me off, he says, "Okay, I'll try and come back and pick you up tonight, but no guarantees. I'm running a lot of flights." And so I'm suddenly sitting in this place with these folks that don't speak English, and I don't speak what they speak, and I'm thinking, kind of get you in touch with God real quick.
Oh, yeah.
But as he was flying away, I think, ooh, man, that was a little different. And where the person had been eaten by the crocodile was one of the places where we worked doing a little medical clinic thing. And it was you got to be really prepared to be out in the middle of nowhere in some of these places,
Right.
and with the right kind of stuff in your survival pack, and hopefully enough gray matter to know how to use things. But that was pretty unnerving in a real world way. There was good, there was bad, and there was ugly.
Well, that's
anyway.
out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, really, that came out of nowhere, that's for sure. But at any rate, and I'm trying to remember there was a movie about that Brad Pitt was in, and they were somewhere over on the African continent,
Oh, yeah, different one.
I think.
You said Brad Pitt. I'm going Legends of the Fall.
Well, I was
Ooh,
thinking
there
about
you go.
that. That's kind of a wilderness kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt.
It had to do with the illegal gold.
Oh, Blood Diamond.
Yes, blood.
That was
No, but that was Leonardo
Leonardo.
DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right, yeah.
Who cares?
It's dead,
You're right.
They're
Though.
both the
Hey,
same.
they're
Yeah.
both girly men.
Yeah, really.
But sorry, I didn't say that. And now we find out they're in town and watching right now. Sheesh.
Oh,
Anyhow,
man. You're gonna get arrested for being a tranny.
yeah,
Craig,
yeah.
Craig, do you remember-
Transphobe or something.
Do you remember Mountains of the Moon?
Yes,
No.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Now, who was in that?
Um,
Was it Tom Hanks?
no,
No, look it
I
up.
don't remember.
Yeah, Google.
Some really good looking guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Julie, Liz, Gerald, and Kelly, thanks for joining us on Facebook. Let us know what your favorite out in the middle of nowhere type movie is.
Those are the biggest ones. How you get what was the one with
There you go.
Mark Wahlberg where he was on, or not, Matt Damon, where he was
Yeah,
stuck on
Blood
Mars.
Dive.
No, he was stuck on
Oh.
Mars.
Oh, now
yeah.
that's wilderness.
The Martian.
Wilderness,
The
yeah,
Martian.
Martian, yeah.
Oh, that was
it's-
a great movie.
Don't get a lot more wilderness
That
than
was-
that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Alaska's
Super.
bad. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
my gosh.
Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Mountains of the Moon, this guy in the kind of-
Patrick Bergen.
Patrick Bergen, yes.
Played Richard Burton, but not the actor. It was the
The
explorer.
explorer.
Right.
The
yes.
explorer, Richard Burton.
Yes. And this was 1990.
I've led a sheltered
Yeah.
life.
And they determined to find the source of the Nile.
Yes.
So it's
They did that sort of stuff back in the
Yes, they
in
did.
the 1800s. They looking for stuff like that,
Yes.
and really, really brave stuff. I mean, you're going into a place where there's a whole series of large wild animals that can kill you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe 100 different kinds of bizarre diseases that can kill you.
Right.
And the local people have no interest in your well-being whatsoever.
Yeah.
And why should they?
True, yes.
Yeah, and they went anyway. Richard Burton was really quite a guy. And terrific movie if those of you who haven't seen it. And there's a great scene where he's back in London with who's the guy that got lost in Africa and they had to go look for him?
Oh,
Livingston.
Livingston, I presume.
Yes, Livingston.
Dr. Livingston, I presume.
Yeah.
Yes.
Livingston and Richard Burton have meet in some place in London, and they're talking things over, and they start showing each other their scars.
Yeah.
And one rolls up his pant leg and says, "Crocodile," and the guy pulls his shirt off and says, "Spear." It was really funny.
Really
That
cool.
place that I was mentioning in Mozambique is just it's just right around the corner from the Kruger Wildlife Preserve there.
Oh.
And I mean, they've got all kinds of big cats and stuff like that. And when it comes to, I mean, here being out in the woods, I know all the critters and most of the plants, and I feel pretty confident that I could fend well if I was stranded on top of the rim. But in places where there's, a lot of really big cats that, just think of you as a tasty morsel and stuff like that, or elephants that, could crush your Volkswagen microbus. To me, that's spooky.
Well, personal story, way back in the day when I was a child in the Stone Age, in Singapore, when we first moved to Singapore in 1954, my parents would play golf up on the Malay Peninsula, and the caddies carried a rifle because there were tigers. And so, you were on the greens, but you didn't know if you were going to be attacked or, whatever. I mean, it was thought of as...
Hey, hand me the 9-iron and would you shoot that cat over there?
Right, yeah. Yeah, there were still the Borneo tigers.
Wow.
Up on that area, yeah.
Yeah.
Was Ghost in the Darkness.
Oh, good one,
With Val Kilmer and
Yeah.
Michael Douglas.
And Michael
with,
Douglas, yeah. About those
Yeah, it was a pair of lions
man-eating
that
tigers or?
they were lions.
Lions.
A pair-
True story too.
Yeah,
I guess two
Yeah.
male lions, which they said they don't really do that, but
Right,
these two guys were hanging out and picking off villagers.
yeah,
and
they worked together as a team,
Oof.
and they were really predatory, yeah.
they say the lions, their tongues they can take your flesh off with their tongue.
Ooh.
They're
Gee.
just they are.
Yeah,
Well, it's like a grizzly
I would
bear
have
here.
died from a heart attack by then anyway.
Yeah, well, it's just like a grizzly bear here. Some of these animals that are.
Yeah.
I mean, if a lion decides you're not fighting it off. I mean, if you don't
Right.
shoot it, it's gonna kill you
right,
Right.
easily. Yeah.
right,
Spooky.
yeah.
When I also think of movies, I mean, there's been a number of different movies over the years about, the original quest to the South Pole or North Pole or and to the top of Mount Everest. I mean, those are some pretty harsh environments where there's not much else around even as far as wildlife in some of those places.
And
Mount
then-
Everest now is a mess. Have you seen
Yeah. I know.
Well, you can.
Been all kinds of things left up there,
Yeah.
and as well as people.
Yeah. Well, now I guess you can pay people to carry up the mountain, and it's just there's a line going up, and
Yeah.
it's.
But fictionalized version, and I'm a big John Carpenter fan. He's made some of my favorite movies. There is the movie with Kurt Russell called The Thing that takes place down, it's either Arctica or the Arctic or Antarctica, I think. But there's a wilderness movie where they're out there in this blizzard snowstorm and there is this alien force. Yeah.
I think we all know Alana Wallace with Holiday Cruises and Tours.
Yeah.
She took a very interesting ship ride from the southern tip of, if I remember correctly, of South America down to Antarctica, so that she could say that she had visited that continent too.
Wow.
And I just think it would be interesting to go there, see it, take a few pictures, and then probably leave. I'm
Yeah,
not real big on super cold weather, and I don't think it ever gets very warm there.
right.
It'd be fun to see all those penguins.
Oh,
It would be
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, that would be.
Or you could just go to the Sawmill Theaters and watch Happy Feet.
Yay!
Exactly.
So now, when it comes to, you mentioned, Craig, also about kind of revitalizing the classic movie Saturday thing.
Yes.
It was what, the first Saturday of the month?
First Saturday of the month.
Yeah.
And you're going to start off this next on the first Saturday of next
First
month
Saturday, yeah, of
with
March. Sound of Music.
Sound of Music, and then people will be able to vote on what movie they
Yeah,
want.
we'll
next.
kind of talk about it and let everyone decide what they want to see and get everyone's opinion on it
Cool.
and get those going. You know, we had this up where we had 50, 60 people would show up.
Oh, it was a full theater. It was
yeah,
wonderful.
you know, and it
Yeah.
was kind of a, there were always some different people in there, but we had kind of a 20 or 30 people, I think, that came to all of them. And,
Yeah.
it was kind of a fun little get together too.
That'd be cool. And just one of the neat things that goes on at the Sawmill Theaters, and you guys are always supporting different causes, and it looks like now we'll be able to actually start moving back to some of those activities that you used to be doing.
You'll get the date on that, April, early April. But hey, we're going to do a fundraiser. Get back to doing these too for the local scholarships.
Oh,
Oh, good for you.
Good.
So we've been doing these probably for 10 years now.
Wow.
To raise money for for all, like I said, all local stuff.
Very nice.
So I got to get look at that date again. But I think
And that's just another one of the reasons why you got to get down to the Sawmill Theaters and support them, because they do so much to support everybody else. And plus, it's just to see the Sound of Music on a big screen again. I mean, where else are you going to go and see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I think we're obviously this COVID stuff is still going on and everything, but we got vaccinations going through here in Gila County. I think they're doing a great job on that and getting everyone back to good. Yeah, hopefully we can all kind of start living halfway normal again.
Have we ever shown Zulu for
Oh, right, with Michael Caine.
for a classic movie?
Yeah.
No.
That's a true story.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Zulu.
Yeah.
Remember Monty Python?
Oh, yes.
They did the spoof on that, and that was when the officer gets his leg bit off by a tiger.
That's funny.
It was because
Sitting
it was
here
in
in the studio, I find it
it was the middle.
hysterical.
Well, it was in the middle of the Zulu War, and there was
Right,
just
right,
people dead everywhere. The guy comes, he's like, "One of the officers has been injured." They're like, "Oh no!" And like, run in there. He's in his tent, on a nice fluffy bed, and it's just chaos going everywhere. That was
Monty Python, they always have
Meaning
this.
of Life.
Oh,
Meaning
okay.
of Life.
Another classic movie that I would like to see is The Man Who Would Be King.
Oh,
With Sean
that was
Connery
a wonderful
and
movie.
Michael
Love
Caine.
that one.
Oh my word, what a great movie.
You hit on something else too, in my opinion. Sean Connery,
Oh,
probably
God rest
at
his
least
soul.
in the top 5,
Yeah.
but in my world, probably the best actor of all time. I thought he had such a
he was
wealth of productions that he was in, and I always really liked the way he came at it. Whether it
He
was
was Bond.
he was Bond.
Yeah,
He was
James
he was
That's
far
one.
cooler than any of the
That
others.
is one we have not done on the classic films. We have never done one James Bond film.
Oh, it
Wow.
was you, Dr. No, because I was filmed in my hometown.
Goldfinger.
Oh, yeah,
Goldfinger.
yeah, really.
There's
Don't pull that.
in The Man Who Would Be King. There's
Oh.
just a choice little scene where Michael Caine and Sean Connery have an encounter with Rupert Kipling before they go off on their adventure. And
Roger, you mean Kipling himself? That's
no,
right.
no, not the real one, but
No, but I mean, but as someone,
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah,
Kipling,
Kip-
who wrote the story, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, what a great movie. I haven't seen that for a long time.
yeah, we should see it again.
We should see it again, yeah.
My wife and I recently were down in the valley. There was the exhibit is gone now, but there was an exhibit down there of all of these artifacts that were.
Who is it?
I don't know. Somebody in the 602 area code is probably wanting to get in touch with me regarding my expired vehicle
You're warranty.
all the time. But at any rate, we went down and saw an amazing exhibit of all of these things that were brought up from the wreckage of the Titanic,
Oh,
and it was displayed quite well, and it was kind of weird and eerie when you look at some of the video and how far beneath the surface. You know, and it was good, it was bad, it was ugly, but how far beneath the surface all of that ended up. That's another one of these, you know, out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the ocean, but then
Yeah.
down at the bottom of the ocean,
right.
and to see these things that you know, were retrieved by the robots and stuff that they sent down there, I thought was really a remarkable thing to see. But all of that just takes me back to the movie Titanic, which I think a lot of people like that one. It got a lot of Academy Awards.
Hey, there's speaking of wilderness, a friend just sent me mountain goats. This is the Superstition Mountains.
Oh,
my
great!
word,
Oh, wow.
Look at those
Yeah,
cool little
yeah.
little hoppers.
Yeah,
Yeah, those
hanging
guys are
out there.
We have
Really
mountain goats
good.
out in the Superstitions?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yep.
Who knew?
And they have mountain lions up here.
Well, you can
Yeah.
get mountain lions down. I spent a lot of time in my young days out in the Superstitions when I lived down in the valley. I was born and raised down there.
Beautiful
I've
out
hiked
there.
all over that, and that's
Yeah.
getting back in by Weaver's Needle and stuff. I also seen some unusual things there that we couldn't really quite explain at
Look
times.
through the Peralta trailhead.
Yeah.
On the other side there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful back in
Nice.
there, just beautiful.
Yeah.
Where's the Lost Dutchman gold mine?
Oh boy, if we only knew, right? Actually, I did a paper on
There
that
you
back
go.
in high school a long time ago.
Really?
And etching away on the stone was so difficult. But there was some conjecture that actually Jacob Walsh, the Lost Dutchman, lived in Phoenix and died in Phoenix. But there was some conjecture that maybe he came around the Superstitions to, you know, kind of throw people off. But the gold that he had was mostly laced in quartz, and that type of thing wasn't that prevalent in the Superstitions, but just across the, you know, what's now the Apache Trail there in the Goldfield Mountains, that would have a higher propensity for that kind of thing. A lot of old Essinger